icing. Now on your recipe for pudding carrot cake, there is an icing recipe down below that is just as sweet as this cake. So we're not using that particular icing recipe. On the next recipe for the carrot cake, I'm using that icing recipe. It's a little less sweet. Clean food processor. Okay, 3/4 cup of cashews, and these were soaked. You usually soak them for a minimum of 4 hours. These were soaked for what, 5 hours? 5 hours. And they were 3/4 of a cup, right?
It was pretty close. You may want to use a little bit less.
Oh, it's okay. We'll put them all. 2 dates, and the dates have been soaking for...
Same. How long is a date soak? 5 hours.
5 hours also. And you can tell when they're ready, they're soft. They're squishy. And the reason you want to soak them is we're making a smooth frosting, so they'll smooth out a lot better in the frosting. 1 orange juiced. Rather than squeeze the oranges in here, I have a citrus juicer. This is, oh, it's the electric thing again. These things are marvelous, absolutely marvelous. Takes everything out. The reason I'm dumping half of this into the container is because I'm only going to start with half. And that way I've got the rest of the orange juice. If the frosting comes up too thin or too thick, I can add more orange juice. But if I put all the orange juice in at once, then there's no way for me to thicken up again. So it takes everything out of the orange water. Okay. So we're going to add 2 dates. We got the cashews, 1 orange juiced. I'm going to add all of it. 1 teaspoon of orange zest. That's the orange part of the rind. Orange. We've got this handy little scraper, and you just do. You only want the color part of the orange. You don't want any of the pith or the white part of it. So you just keep moving it around. That in there. Not a whole teaspoon, but it's close. And 1 to 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. Since I already have orange juice in here, we're just going to squeeze some in here. And you just guesstimate, because it's just to give it a little bit of tartness, take away the sweet. I like tart dressing, so we squeeze quite a bit in there. Take away from the sweetness of this carrot cake. I'll tell you, it's really sweet. And 1 little bit of vanilla bean. You can use the vanilla that you get in the little jars, you know, the vanilla liquid, you could use that. But this is raw vanilla bean. Put that in there. And process. Can you see it thickening up? This stuff is really good. If you don't put a lot of lemon in it and you put more orange in it, it's nice and sweet and tart and tangy. And you can just eat it as a dessert itself. It's really good. And it's a little bit thick, so we can add just a little bit more. Almost. go, frosting. How easy is that? Just put the frosting on the carrot cake. If you want a really creamy frosting, you can let it food process longer and it turns creamier, or you can do it in a machine like a Vitamix, and that makes really, really creamy frosting. The only difficulty with doing this much frosting in a Vitamix is getting it out, because it's way down there in the bottom and you got to reach down and scoop it out, and it's not quite high enough for the plunger to push it to the blades, so it takes a while and a little work to get it processed, but it comes out very creamy in a Vitamix. Here we go, carrot cake. Can you tell I'm not a cake decorator? It's kind of a heart. Here we go. Now, what I've done is brought another version. Shapely is the heart there, but it's the same. This has been refrigerated so that the frosting is turned a little bit darker, but it's the same icing. This carrot cake is actually the same pudding cake recipe I started with, but I added some cinnamon and some nutmeg and walnuts and no agave. I just got the dates without the extra sweetener. So it is not nearly as sweet as you'll see this one is. But you'll have to taste both and decide which one you like. Now,
No honey, and no honey also on that one?
in this one, there's no honey. It just has the carrots and the dates.
Okay.
And I added a little bit of it to make it so it was moist enough. I added, maybe 2 tablespoons of the date soap water. So for the frosting, I had the dates soaking for the frosting. If anyone wants to just taste this,